My dearest friends, welcome to my channel. I'm Kaya Sigemari from Heart to Heart, and I'm back with an interview in English with a German friend. So we are both German. We did recently a German interview. This is Mel. Mel is a reader, I would say that, better than a channel. Maybe you would like, and I had a huge and great reading by you, I can tell. If you have some questions, you will find all the information how to contact Mel in the description boxes. Well, I will say that at the end again. So Mel, please, if you would like to introduce yourself.
Yeah, thank you, Kaya. And hi, everyone. I'm Mel, and I live in Bavaria, in Germany, in Regensburg. And I've been channeling or doing readings for the last 12 years. I also do some part-time work at a school with an autistic boy, which I love. So I have my part-time job, and then I do my spiritual work. And I also guide free dance classes. I call them soul dance classes here in Regensburg and online. And I'm just, I'm halfway through my yoga teacher training, Kundalini Yoga. So I'm doing the yoga of awareness, and I'm very excited to at some point share that as well. Yeah.
Sounds beautiful, like a really good mixture of amazing things, body, mind, and spirit, all you work
and some childcare.
Yes, and childcare. Oh yeah, body, mind, and spirit in one.
Yeah, totally.
So you already said that you find out 12 years ago that you channel, and how did you found that out?
Well, there's a few different parts of the story. I think it really started with my mom asking me to do like an energy clearing in this we had like a little house in Hungary as a holiday home, and we wanted to sell it, and it wouldn't get sold for 2 years. And she said, well, my life, how do you call them? Lifeguard? Lifeguard. She went to like a counselor, and she said, well, it doesn't have the energy to be sold. So you should do like an energy clearing, some vacuuming, like energy wise in the house. And that's something she wasn't capable of doing. She's like, Mel, you're so good at like imagining things. So maybe you can go in there and vacuum it. And I was in New Zealand at the time, and I vacuumed this house in Hungary in my mind. And I like every room I stepped into, I saw different things. And I was completely surprised by how many emotions I got and how many like voices told me something about the rooms. And I was just like, what is that? So I asked her if she could make a relation to that. And she was like, nah, I haven't been there for such a long time. So maybe you can speak to your stepdad. And my stepdad said, oh yeah, that makes so much sense. This room that you said felt neglected. Like, I don't want to go in there. I really don't like it there. I just push everything in there and just leave it alone. And so I found out that every single thing that I saw in that house made sense. And I was like, oh, why? How, like, I couldn't really, I was traveling, so I didn't really care. I was just happy that the house sold like 2 months later. So that was really cool. Yeah. So it really shifted the energy apparently. And then years later, I had a friend in Canada who, because I was living in Vancouver, and she was not in a good state of mind. And I told her, you know what, I vacuumed this house energetically. Like I just get this inspiration inside me that I should, do some energy clearing with you and see if I see some stuff that, relates to what you're going through right now. And I did, and I saw so many things like stuck in her body, and I saw like a vision of her and got emotions and everything. And I just got information basically, and she was really touched and said to me that that's amazing. It all makes sense to her, and it just really helped her. And so that, I think that was the beginning of me trusting that I can, work somehow with that. And then the actual channeling, as I would call it, where I really received information from upstairs, if you may call it that, was when I was with a friend on a bus trip up to Whistler, and we were like traveling a bit, and I just got some information about her that didn't make any sense in that situation we were in, she was really happy and smiling, and I got this really sad and confused and whatever image of her, and some sentences around that. And I told her everything that I got, because I just had the impulse that I should tell her, that I shouldn't hold back. And she told me, like, she confirmed everything and said, Mel, this is exactly what I was just thinking. This is exactly what's been going on. And how did you know that? And I was like, I don't know, but I just got that. So yeah, and that day actually we met another friend of hers, and she was just talking about, between girls, she was just telling us about her relationship and how her boyfriend is like, whatever, and she wasn't very happy. And at that point, again, I just got some information, and I knew at that point I should tell her. So I told her, like, no, honestly, I just got this for you. You need to call him, otherwise it's hard for the relationship and whatever. So she confirmed that a week later. She said that that really saved their relationship, because he wouldn't have called her, and blah, blah, blah. So, big story short, that's how I started getting information. And then it just kept happening in the oddest moments and random. And with even, me being German, I received English words that I didn't know, that I never heard of. And I had to ask the person that I knew it was for. I was like, what does that mean? And she's like, I was just thinking about, and so it was just always this like confirmation that the information had some value for that person. So, yeah.
And was this frightening or surprising, or how did you felt about that in that moment? What's happening there is in you, with you, through you.
I think at first I was really happy about the house. That's for sure, like the sale of the house, of course, and that I could help my friend with her, body issues and stuff. And then when it's just randomly started to come to me, I was luckily in a place in Vancouver where a lot of people do energetic work, and a lot of people are very spiritual and open to those topics. And I got so many people tell me, trust it, just listen and see what comes. And so I was happy to hear that from people who have more experience. And I had a moment though, especially when I got English words that I didn't know. I was just like, okay, am I going crazy, or what is this? Like, I'm starting to hear voices, my fantasy, my imagination is running wild. And but then, and to combat that in a good way, actually, I started to tell friends, you know what, just ask. I'm just going to ask questions. Just ask me questions about things that I wouldn't know, and we'll see if I get any information. And that's how I started practicing, actually. And lots of crazy, amazing stories.
What's beautiful when I listen to you, that you were in the perfect place, in the perfect environment to explore this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Surrounded by people who didn't say, hey, you're crazy, huh? Hearing voices. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
But it was the opposite. So they supported you to explore this gift or talent.
Yeah, because I never did like a course, I never did a workshop, I never received any certificate regarding channeling, reading, being a medium. It's all just through practice, and just, it just started happening. And then I just continued to trust it and started practicing with friends. And then at some point people were asking, well, can you do this for my friend? And then, that's how it went, basically.
And you mentioned already that the information is coming in.
Yeah.
So how would you explain what is the source of these informations? Where do they come from?
Well, I always feel that it's definitely I always call it like the universal knowing, or the universal, the universe. I often tell people, like, I can ask questions to the universe and I get like information. So this is just what I do these days. And it's not to, put myself on a pedestal and be like a special person. It's just something that really happened to me, and that's working. And when I ask for specific people, I often get I always get the impression that there's like at least two like soul soul buddies. I don't know how else to say that. Like I call them Seelenbegleiter in German. So people that, you know, soul guides, people that are like people, not people, but higher beings that are with you, like souls that are there for you at this specific time. Because so oftentimes people ask me, oh, I would like to have a reading or a channeling that day, and then we had to postpone or something. And in the end, it always turned out that it was perfect at the moment it happened. So I feel that it's always like a little bit of a planned meetup that you have.
Divine timing.
Yeah, exactly. Totally divine right timing. And the sources tend to switch over to souls sometimes that are that you know, that have been in your life. So deceased ones, relatives that are not there anymore, that are not on earth anymore. That has happened too. And otherwise, I just honestly, I don't feel that I'm getting information from an archangel or some, you know, some master that has been up and above and is telling me how this world works. I feel that's a very down-to-earth approach to just have these entities that feel that they are perfect at that time to answer your questions, and they are meant to be there for you and help you with that.
So when I understood that right, these are the guides of your client, not your guides, or however.
Not my guides. No.
Guides, simply your soul body or souls
for that person, because they have the information for that person. Yeah, and they feel called at that time to, like, it's your job today to help. You know?
So, for example, when you did the reading for me, then there were souls around me or guides for me.
Yeah, I never got the impression ever that it's like my guide that says, "Hey, I have like the good stuff for your client here," because I've been talking to so many people that I've never ever met, never ever seen, you know, just via phone, and it's not my guide who knows it all. Like, yeah,
it's beautiful. That makes sense as well for me. And then what I found interesting, how do you receive this information? Do you smell them, feel them, see images? I think you mentioned that already. Do you hear words? How do they come to you, this information?
Yeah, it feels like it's evolved over time a bit in a funny way, because at first it just looked like, you know, like how do you call that in English, I wonder? But like I could really read a sentence off a little piece of paper, basically. And I was like, okay, that's what I have to tell them. And at the same time, I got these really clear words in front of me, and I oftentimes got a lot of emotions. So like these emotions were a bit overwhelming though, because I tended to cry for people. I had situations where I like laughed for people, and it wasn't because I needed to laugh. It was just really because of the reading and the channeling that I did at that point. They gave me the emotions through my body, and that was something that I learned through my friends in Canada, that is a bit too much, especially for me. That's very, very sensitive and empathic. So I learned to let the emotions. I can talk about them. I can tell the client that that's the emotion that I'm getting, but I'm not feeling them anymore. So I'm not acting them out in a way. But that's what happened at the beginning. And I see situations and visions. So I sometimes see the client or the person that I'm with, I see them in specific situations they've never been in. Sometimes they sit in the woods in I don't know where, and I've never been there, but I see them sitting there, and that has a meaning in itself. So sometimes it was like they will go on holiday, they need to be in nature. There's all these different, I think what they do is they show me these images to make it easier to like smell the moment that I have to get to that person. I don't know how else to describe it. It's just a deeper understanding of what is meant for that person, for that soul in that moment. And what else? So I'm getting the information with reading them, hearing them. I can hear them too. And I get like a lot of images, like just images of random things that come very quick sometimes to, and then I tell the client what I see, and oftentimes they can make the connection right away. That's what happens too. So, and it's evolved over time. Now before I even start really getting into the reading and really getting into my room, I often get an image of the person, of their current situation. So yeah, so it's been changing a bit. I'm glad I don't get the emotions as much as I used to. Yeah.
I think this is for a lot of empaths a big challenge, a way to. I'm not so, I feel emotions of others, but not in my system. I always know that they're theirs, but I know that there are a lot of other empaths who don't know is it mine or the emotions of others, especially other people who don't feel their emotions. They have to act them out. And how is...
Sorry, and it can be so exhausting, and that's what I really learned, because now I feel like it's such a win-win situation. The client comes out of the session energized, and I feel balanced and energized too. But at the beginning, it was not like that. So I had to learn.
It was a learning step.
Yeah.
And what did you need? Do you use cards, or what did you need to channel for a client or to get information to read?
I never used cards. Like, I have used cards just because people like cards, and I like some of my decks a lot, so I wanted to share them, but I have never used cards to channel. Like, it was never a tool for me. So I basically really just go into, as I call it, like my little room, my little trance state, and I physically feel when I'm in the right energy, and I ask to be guided to the right information and on the highest vibration. So I just, when you ask about tools that I use, I just have like my candle and my clearing crystal, and I have like a little head piece that I often wear because it's something that I brought from Canada, so it always reminds me of the beginning of when I started this work. So that's something that just feels empowering and protective to me at the same time. So that's something I use. And the crystal, and just being in the right energy for myself, in the right place, channeling or doing readings outside is really beautiful, because it's so, it's just magical. Yeah.
And what I remember when you did my reading, that you asked me to ask questions. They were not, my questions were not very clear. What was for me part of the reading? What was an interesting experience too?
Yeah, because I ask questions, like the person just gives me their life topics that are important to them right now and their issues, and we ask questions. And important, as you know, is that the questions are clear, and it can be it can be like a little process to get to those, like to the essence of the question, basically. And when you have the essence of the question, you get the best response, because I used to just ask random questions, as I said at the beginning, like I practice too, so I have like an experience, and you get like, you get information, but it's it can be very not to the point. So when you have this refining process that we've been through with your questions, it's so much, it makes so much more sense for you, because you get the actual the actual essence of what you were asking. So
I remember really that you didn't get answers, because my question was not like this, it was a bit like this. And this was for me an experience very interesting to have a look why I don't allow myself, or I'm afraid to ask like this. And so this was beside of the reading healing experience for me to say, Kaya, if you want to get a clear answer, You have to ask a clear question.
Yeah.
What was beautiful and part of the whole package, I say, with you.
Yeah. I love that you experience it like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's, sometimes it's a bit of a struggle for people. And in the end, though, I always feel that we come out with, it's a process, and it can be super clear from the beginning. And I always tell everybody that, think about your questions, and that day when we actually do the channeling, think about them again and prioritize which are even still there, because it can change so quickly. It can change. Yeah. Yes.
And you mentioned already, I have this question, if you can control when you channel, how you channel, that you went through a huge process, and in the meantime, you don't have to process all the emotions of your clients any longer. Can you control also when you get informations and when not?
Yeah, I think over the last few years, I've only experienced a few rare times that I still get information randomly, like I did in Canada when it started. Sorry. And I've always feel that if I have this situation, like just a few weeks ago, I sat with a bunch of girls, women in after a yoga class, and one of them, I just knew I had to tell her a few things because I got them for her. And she actually said, "Oh, I know, Mel, you are like, you can, like, you're good at readings and you can do the channeling." And I was even thinking, oh my God, is she going to be able to pick up something? And I was like, oh, I didn't, because I never receive it as something that can scare people or something. But of course, if you don't want to be seen with your emotional, whatever you're going through, it makes sense that if somebody's, a psychic, you don't want to be in the same room. But that's usually not how it works with me. I have a friend who used to be exactly like that, and it can be like confronting sometimes, in a good way though, because you always learn and you always like, oh yeah, she's so right. But in that situation, she was so happy and so touched by what I told her, and she actually felt completely free, and her shoulders like dropped when I told her. And it's something that I only do when I completely feel that there's like a value and a safe space for that person. When I ask them, of course, I always ask, I just got some things that I heard and see here. Do you wanna know? And she was so happy in the end. But that's one of the rare situations that I got information randomly. Usually I always, these days, I'm so like, I can block myself off, and I know, like, I don't have my channels as open as they used to be, like, and so I ask questions and then I get the information.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's a question of permission as well.
It's a complete question.
Really
yes.
important thing that we channel just for a person who is open and who wants and allows that we tune in, however, whatever.
Absolutely, yeah. And I always trust that the soul is ready for that information. Then, so every time I have a reading, I ask people to give me that permission, because otherwise it's I had the situation before where actually a woman pushed her husband a bit to do a reading with me, and I got all these like frazzle information, like nothing really came together, and I was like, what's happening here in front of my inner eye, basically. And I asked him if he, and that's the situation when I started. So I wasn't as, professional or prepared or thorough as I'm now. So I asked him if he's really open to the idea of having this reading. And he's like, yeah, my wife told me I should do this. And I was like, oh, that makes sense. That's why I'm not really picking up a lot of things about what you ask. So yes, definitely that's the major thing. That's the ground level, to have permission, and to only do it when you're in the right space too, because everybody has good and bad days. You can be stressed, you can be sick, or just exhausted from whatever. And so I never do a channeling when I'm in like a state. I always do it when I'm in the right energy for that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And can you channel for yourself as well? Or is it just others?
Yeah, no, I can. And I have done that. And here, of course, the ego comes in and it's like, I want to hear this. I hope I can get that answer. and I never got that answer that I wanted. Usually it was, and because it can be, it can be something that you worry about, and then your worries are like proven in that answer. And you knew though that it's that way. Oh, that's my alarm. Sorry. Hold on.
Hold on.
I did not know that I had set one. There you go. See, not to forget the next reading. So I have done channelings for myself, definitely, when I was just feeling that I'm just at a point where like nothing's gonna help me unless I maybe ask the higher guides, and it always did help me. Probably not in the easiest way sometimes, because it's, it can be something that I had to think about, that I had to go through, feel through, allow the emotions to be there instead of pushing them away by distracting myself, whatever. So, yeah, but it works, and I always write it down. So I have quite a few channelings that I did for myself still in my little box.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
And you mentioned what I found interesting, that when you channel for yourself, you have an awareness when the ego is stepping in and saying, I don't want this information, I want it different. So this light goes to my next question. So how do you now, when you channel or when you do readings, that you really receive pure information and it's not your ego mixing up or your personality? How do you
I feel like I have a few like anchor points for myself regarding that. And one of them I already talked about is that I should never do a reading under the influence of alcohol, for example.
Good one.
I was at a boat in Canada once, and all these girls were like, Mel, you got to do a reading now. And I'm like, maybe. And then I'm like, no. So because we had a drink on the boat. So, and to be in the right energy for yourself, because I have to, if I want to be like this vessel, and if I want to receive the information, which can be like any information, it can be something beautiful, it can be something sad, it can be anything. So I just have to be that, have my spine like in a good, like I have to be in balance, and I have to make sure that I don't cloud it with anything. And if it's just my exhaustion, so the pure anchor for me is to be in the right energy first, and then when I step into the room where I do the readings, I always feel that physically when I'm in the right space. And I think we had that with your reading as well, where I'm like, no, I can't ask this. It doesn't connect, so to say. Yeah, doesn't work. So when I'm in that space and I feel the pure, like I always ask for the highest vibration and for the right guidance, and I can just physically feel when I'm in the right room, in the right space, and when it flows, and I can feel that too. So that's those to me are the two major anchors that tell me the energy is right, and to never do it like on the fly. Not while walking somewhere. Yeah, I'm just going to do a little, to create a space that's see, now I'm losing this very important word. It's like the sacred space. Yeah, to create the sacred space that because that's every person and every soul needs that sacred space to, to be held there. So yeah, so that's something I always have to do.
And this is what then when you're in this space, that these are pure information that are coming from the guides of your clients, and not parts of MEL stepping in that might wakes up or disturbed. Okay. My last question, nearly last question. Did you think that different people channel different informations or receive different informations?
Yeah, I definitely think there's different areas of channelings or readings you can do. So I have been to certain people who did like a body reading, like a body scan, aura, chakra reading, which is completely different from what I do, of course, because like I could probably do that, but I haven't been going that route. So with the energy readings, I did that at the beginning with my friend, the vacuuming, that's similar, but I feel like there's a very down to earth kind of here and now reading. That's something that I would consider my readings to be. That just gives you like information you need here and now, right in this moment on earth, where you can touch your wall and be like, that wall color doesn't work because it's going to make you nervous. So don't paint the room in red or whatever. And then there's people who are very much more in tune to previous lives or karmic connections. I get some of that. I oftentimes have little hints here and there in my readings, but I'm not going deeper into that because it just doesn't feel like that's my my path or my expertise or what I'm meant to do.
What you're here for,
exactly. So, but I have known people, and there's all sorts of different approaches too. Like if you go to somebody who's, now there's like human design, whatever, there's like so many different ideas of what channeling or readings can be anyways. So yeah, I do feel that there's different areas and that means different information. Yeah, I guess.
So now really my last question, and I surprised you in our German interview, but now maybe you're a bit prepared. If you can get a little sample of your channeling, and the question I would ask is the same like in the German reading. So 2022 is really, until now, highly charged. We have now the end of May, highly charged, energetic, and really washing machine year. Do you have a vision of the second half starting at the beginning of July, how this year will unfold?
This is interesting now, Kaya. This is so interesting because now my ego and it feels like even spirit or something stepped in and said, well, if you ask this question again, you just answered it like a while ago, just today. And if you answer this question again in English, it's going to be like, it's just going to feel like you're reading off the last one you did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you have any other question,
okay.
I'm just
challenge now.
Yeah, there you go. Haha. Challenge of the day. But that just came to me.
Okay. It's interesting because this is already spirit talking to you and saying, no, we don't repeat that.
It just like, and it came from here. Like I often get it up here, but it came from here, and it's just like, okay, because I know then it's like partly my ego being like, so it's like a mixture, definitely. But I'm just saying, if you have
I have another question.
Yeah, there you go.
So I go further. It's the same direction. Because for me, 2022 is a really transforming year. So how do you feel or see 2023?
Okay. Funny little side note. 22, I used to have, my lucky number used to be 33 for, I guess, about 30 years or something. And then I came to Bavaria. And as soon as I moved to Bavaria, which was a huge new life change for me and new chapter in my life, it started to be 22. And
interesting.
Yeah. And then coming to this year, I know it has a huge meaning. And it's, yeah. So I'm gonna ask about 23. Yes.
Thank you.
So the question was, how do they see?
Okay, there we are in this.
Mm-hmm.
How do you see and or feel the energy coming in 2023?
Mm-hmm. I would ask, what is the energy that's going to come in 2023? Okay. Yeah. Okay, and I'm going to ask for you again because we did that last time too. Okay. This is another question for Kaya. She would like to know, what is the energy coming in the year 2023? They're like smiling and laughing. There's a lot of energies. What are you asking about? This is such a huge topic that it's even a bit early to talk about it, because for now, oh, they're being very funny. For now, you have enough on your plate with the coming months. The energy we see, though, for 2023 is the energy of exhaustion in a good way, because with the exhaustion comes, I'm getting the image of people lying down, and everybody's lying down like, oh, and then everybody's starting to like hold hands and smile at each other like, hey, we're all lying on the ground together. This is actually kind of cozy and fun. So it's like a peaceful, content exhaustion. Like people are not feeling exhausted and they want to cry and they want to be depressed, or they want to give up and surrender. Like not surrender is not the right word. Like just they don't want to do that. They're actually like lying down. They're like, oh my God, we did that. We're here. So that's the energy that they show me that comes in. And then what else is there? You have to realize that with what the humankind is going through right now, there's so much breaking up the crust and explosions under the surface that are showing that it's for every human being to just truly understand that they are all in the same boat. There's nobody that's in a different one. There is no other one. There is no plan B or planet B or situation C. What is happening right now is meant to unite the souls again, because they have forgotten and they have been disconnected from what they were coming from and what their plan was. Today, the world looks like so funny, I don't know why, a crazy big disaster. And they show me like a supermarket with everything thrown off the shelves. And people are standing there like, what the hell happened here? And this is how the world looks. And then some people pick it up. Some people try to still fill up their shopping carts and like try to ignore it and not look at the mess. And they're like still like, oh, I need 2 bottles of champagne. So like I get like a slightly arrogant image of some people that are just passing by, like the craziness and the mess in the supermarket. And then I get like these people who are picking it up. And the cool thing about the people that are picking stuff up and putting it back on the shelves, first of all, they are actually enjoying doing it after a while, because they start to chat to each other. And they start to form bonds and even connections. And I see like people who take out their phones and they like exchange contacts and add each other and whatever. So it's a very fun image. And then I see other people who are trying to like grab as much as they can and get to the cashier. And then at the cashier, there is a no, you can't use your credit card sign. And these people almost like explode with anger and rage about that. and then they have to go back and put everything back in the shelves. And that's when they meet the other people that are having a good time in the aisle, basically, picking up all the stuff and putting it back in the shelves and forming, funny supermarket friendships. So it looks like it's an interesting image of showing the different dynamics that go on the planet right now. That's what I'm getting regarding the supermarket situation. And 2023 is going to be something where you will allow yourself to start again with belief systems, start again with your ways of going about your life and how the world works. Everybody was thinking that this is going to be a certain pattern that's going to continue forever and ever, which can be relied on. But the coming year will show that there's nothing to rely on, and that can be such a freeing and renewing thing. It's gonna show everybody that you grow out of the mud, you grow out of the dirt. No garbage is gonna be able to cover you. Nothing can make you rot away if you trust that your path and your life journey is meant for you.
Wow. Thank you. I love the images of the supermarket.
Yeah, me
so
too.
Clear that our society and what is needed,
and
that you see this.
Yeah, it was really funny because I talking about I don't have to laugh for anybody anymore. Like I felt like I had to laugh a few times because it was just it was a really funny image because they were almost at the point of like, there's some movies where you have people like dancing in the supermarket aisle, La La Land kind of thing, whatever. So it was almost at that point the air was feeling like this could happen too, and they were kind of laughing about these people who were like, no, I have oh my god, this is again
a reminder.
So many alarms. Oh yeah, I know what though. See, I'm so bad with birthdays, and one of my friends, I need to call. So anyhow, so I'm so this supermarket image was really a nice idea in a way, like such a beautiful image. I'm still like in awe about it too, because it's such a beautiful image of describing what's wrong in society and what can go right when you pick up the pieces. It's just, I was just really happy about this now because it's like,
it's beautiful. I like that. I like to listen to you and to see you and to from my point of view, see how you see these images and describe them. Like I could see that you have really like a cinema flat and
definitely,
and describing to me and to us what you see there.
Let's go to the supermarket and make friends. Yeah. Okay.
Well, thank you very much, Mel. Also for this example, also for showing that some things don't want to be repeated, even not in other languages. It's great.
Yeah. And I apologize for my funny alarm. That was unexpected. I was like, ever since I have a smartphone, which I have been having for such a long time, I think 3 years now, I'm one of the last ones on this planet, I think, because I knew that it's gonna distract me and I tend to set alarms though. Yeah, I'm gonna take my brain to the side.
Practical for that.
Yeah, it's not good.
Don't worry, it was not such a huge distraction.
Okay,
it was part of
real life. Yes. Thank you, Kaya. Thank you for this.
And I can repeat at this moment of time for everybody who would be interested to book a session with you, a reading. You will find all the contact information in the description box on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram here.
And I will set my alarm for every single reading.
You will set an alarm to meet people on the right moment. And you give sessions in English and German.
Yeah, of course. Definitely.
Other languages?
Yeah.
Chinese?
High German.
High German. Not Bavarian German.
Yeah, not Bavarian German, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, just English. Yeah.
Okay, it's a lot already. Thank you very much. Now I give you the last word.
Well, I think if we're gonna dance in the supermarket at some point, that's a good image to have in mind for the future. So dancing in the supermarket aisle.
Yeah, totally. Thank you very much. I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here. Doing 2 interviews in a row, it's a lot. Thank you very much. I enjoyed to have these 2 languages.
Me too. Yeah.
And all the best for you. And thank you everybody who was watching and listening.
Definitely.
And until the next time. So, what language ever, what will happen then? We will see.
Exactly.
Okay.
See you soon.
Bye.